Whew. And we're connecting.
I see that. Hopefully, this time you'll be able to see if people join us or who joins us.
I should. I have very full bars right now. So far so
Awesome.
good. Um so yeah, let's see. Um let's just anyway, how are you doing, Tiffany?
Sis, I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. I am excited about the conversation we're going to have, life in general. I feel like this year started off really hard. I was having some personal stuff going on, um, but I'm feeling good today. So, how about you?
That's awesome. Yeah, this year it's so funny because toward the end of last year, as we were counting down, well, I was counting down to 2026, the year of the pause, on my newsletter. Every A newsletter went out every day that was like this countdown, and I was sharing um just my heart behind Mosaic Mindset and the pause and all the things. And I don't know, it just built this excitement, and I was just really looking forward to 2026. And January 2nd, I got sick.
Mm,
And it was
mm,
like,
mm, mm.
oh no.
Well, and tell the people that you thought it was allergies for a long time. You were not willing to admit that you were sick.
Yeah, I mean, it may have started off as allergies. This is allergy.
Yeah, it could
This is
have. It could
it.
have, but it turned into a full-fledged something.
It did. It did.
Mhm.
And I finally was like, "Oh, I am sick.
Mhm.
I am sick." And I ended up. This is a great way for us to kind of lean into talking about um, our holistic health,
Yeah.
because this is when you and I are both solopreneurs,
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, and those those roles take so much. Like, if we're not well, things don't keep moving typically. I mean,
Mhm.
we may have partners on different projects and things like that that can keep things moving, but as a whole, if we're not well, the business is not well. And so I had all these plans for launching and
Mhm.
moving forward this year, and then immediately was sick. And it just kind of, I don't know, it kind of threw me for a loop. I honestly struggled with the pause.
Mhm. Oh, you did because you were still working. I
This
was
is
like, she ain't pausing. She's not pausing. But you know what, though, sis? I think one of the things, though, that I'm hearing is that it took a while for you to come to the realization that you were actually ill. And I think for a lot of us who walk this Christian road, it's like we don't want to claim sickness, but also we have to be honest about where we are. So being honest about where we are allows us then to walk into, okay, well, what do I need then? If I'm here, I need to pause. I need to take rest. I need to drink more liquids. I need to, like, what is your, when you are real with yourself about what your situation is and what your posture is, then you can make decisions about what you're going to do next, and hopefully you make decisions that lead to and give a vote for your healthy whole self, as opposed to continuing to do the thing that maybe is contributing to your sickness or to your state, whatever that is, if it's mental state, emotional state, physical state. The first thing I think is self-awareness. How are we coming into the realization of our actual posture while having faith that God can move us to the next place?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think as women, um as women from whatever background we're in, we are the go-to person usually in
Mhm.
our in our lives, right? We are the person who is kind of scheduling, who is
Mm-hmm.
doing all the meetings, the doctor's appointments, the this, the that. Then we're solopreneurs, which
Mm-hmm.
takes a whole nother level of energy and vibrancy and creativity. And like you said, we can be caught so much, not only in our mind of like, we don't want to just be like, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, but also just in our nature of like, we have to keep going.
We don't have time to be sick.
We don't have time to be sick. Doesn't matter what I feel. I got to do this. We feel guilt for, you know, taking steps back. And so, um, it was a challenge for me, the woman who is always talking about the pause, who is always encouraging other people to pause. It was definitely a challenge, like an in your face type of reality to be hit day 2 of 2026, the year of the pause, with something that is making me pause and not keep up with my um the plan and the pace that I had for that plan to start the new year. And that's very humbling. But it's a true thing. It's real life. And this is
Yeah.
why I'm passionate about talking about it. So before we continue, I just want to ask you, do you see people on this live?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are to the point of me not seeing people.
Okay, so I see Shartaya Mallet.
Hi.
Hello. I hope I pronounced your name right. Please forgive me if I did not. Lisa Zader. Hey, Lisa. Goddess T. Marie.
Hello, hello.
And someone named Sensei. Sensei? Sensei.
Okay, awesome.
And Carrie Doherty.
Hi, Carrie. Okay, well, welcome you guys. Normally, what happens on these lives, I can actually see you and I can greet you and say hello. But for whatever reason, I don't know, Tiff.
It
It's
might be me. It might be me. I might be the problem.
I, the last time I was on with you, I also couldn't
I
see
might
people.
be the problem.
So
So I don't know.
I don't.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But someone else just joined us. So yeah, people are joining, and we welcome everyone as you come in. So if you are just joining us, I'm Nicole's sister.
Yes.
So, and we had a conversation a few months ago now, sis, or was it like several weeks ago? I don't know how long ago it was, but we so thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. And I think also, Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was one of your most watched, most viewed, most engaged with um,
Yeah.
um, posts. And so we decided to come back for part two.
Yes, the sister conversation. So,
Yeah.
yes, everyone. I'm Nicole. For those of you that don't know me, my Substack is called Mosaic Mindset. This is my sister Tiffany Young, and we are just kind of having a conversation about starting off the year and creating habits that are sustainable and holistic and take your mental and physical health in mind and spiritual health in mind as you're going into the year. And so just to give you a little bit of context, back in August, I started going live weekly here on Substack, and those conversations were with an amazing woman every week. We had these powerful conversations about leading your life, your business, and I called that leading through the cracks. And that is calling to the name Mosaic Mindset, the cracks that are in a mosaic and representing the cracks and brokenness pieces of our lives that sometimes it can be challenging to rise and elevate. Oh, we got to talk about, did you pick a word for the year, sis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, don't say it. Don't say
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But leading through the cracks, my Monday episode was calling back to the name of my Substack, Mosaic Mindset. And so those conversations happened every month, and they were beautiful conversations. And, but you know what, guys? While I love those conversations and I'm going to continue to do them, and you'll hear if you're subscribed to my newsletter, you'll hear about the new cadence. So it's not going to be every Monday anymore, but that is because I need us to talk about the reason why it's not every Monday anymore, and part of that is because when you start doing a thing and it starts working and you start enjoying it, you start to grow, right? You start to expand. And when that happens, it's really important that you pause. You pause and you take notice of what's happening around you. And you want to, especially if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, you need to understand where you're at and where you want to go. And I got some other eyes on my business and on myself as a person, as a coach, as a leader, and got some advice. And so I actually have a podcast coach now. And in the beginning, you couldn't have even told me that I was doing a podcast. I wasn't trying to do a podcast. I was just trying to have fun, talk to these ladies every week, and I did have fun. But it has emerged now into something that is greater than what I first understood. So it is now called Holistic Mental Health for Women Solopreneurs. Holistic Mental Health for Women Solopreneurs is the actual name of my podcast. Now, am I still going to do Leading Through the Cracks? Yes, that's just one type of episode that I'm going to have on the podcast, but I had to expand it, and I want you guys to just hear what I'm saying and kind of start applying these things to yourself. Like, think about yourself and where you're at, and the things that you need for whatever your goal is moving forward. I had to, it was kind of hard to even hear some of the things that my podcast coach was telling me, because he really was like, if you want to do this, if you want to impact these women, if you want to make these this like, if you want to make a shift in the atmosphere of your audience, it's important that you position yourself well. So that's why some of those changes have happened, and or are happening. Right. So I just wanted to throw that in there to give us a little bit of context. Tiff, you look like you have something to say, or that you're reading something. Are you seeing
No, I just saw someone join us. Good Next just joined us. So we're good to go there. But I think that's really awesome that you are making those changes. First of all, change is hard. It's the only constant thing that is in the world, but it also is the hardest thing to do. Um, and so especially when you have your mind and your eyes set on one thing, and then you've got to pivot into a new thing.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for taking that leap of faith. And I know that it's going to be a beautiful venture and successful and all of those good things. But I'm sure that you've had to build some healthy habits around your personal behavior, around your professional behavior and actions. And so, what was that like? Like, what does that look like when you are, and what are they? What are your new healthy habits that you are kind of imploring as you begin this new
This
journey?
new journey.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I want to say too that the journey, I guess, is not necessarily new. It's just that it's more expansive now.
Mhm.
It's more expansive. And what I have had to do is really, one of the things is prioritize sleep, which for me is really challenging. Normally, in if this was like normal life pre 4 years ago, it would not be hard for me to prioritize sleep at all. But my current full time job, I'm still in my full time job, and I am a mental health coach. And I coach people through the night. And if you are not familiar with the mental health industry, nighttime is when people's anxiety tends to skyrocket. So I'm pretty busy, and I with that. But in spite of that, I still have to prioritize sleep. And so I have put certain parameters um, around myself to make sure that I am still getting the hours of sleep that I need, even though my rhythm may be off. And so, and you know, and then because my sleep rhythm is off, like off of our natural circadian rhythm, because of my sleep hours, I try to be really intentional about my sleep hygiene, what's happening in my bedroom, the pillows, the blankets, the scents, the sounds. Um, the alarms, the notifications, like all of that stuff is a form of care, and it's a form of me protecting my sleep. So, like, some people in my life are like, you always have your notifications silenced. You always have this. You didn't hear my text. You didn't hear my call. Yes. And that is intentional.
Mhm.
So, I am not as readily available to people as I used to be. I may not respond right away. And all of that are habits that I've put in place to protect my time and protect my sleep. And the other, of course, is pausing. Like, we have to institute the pause, right? This is the year of pause, as I've deemed it in this community. And so really trying to find my rhythm for this year, which has been difficult since I started off and still am kind of struggling with my physical health leading into the new year. But it's a year of me trying to really focus on what rhythms I need as far as pausing, sleep, like my rest rhythms. That's really important. And I would say the last thing that I have done, well, not the last, but the last major thing to speak to right now is for the first time this year, I have planned out my entire year. And I know that can sound overwhelming to people. Like, what? You planned out your whole year? How do you even know what you're going to do in December? Okay, I'm speaking specifically to solopreneurs right now. I didn't plan out what I'm doing with my sister in October. Like, I didn't do that. But as far as like my business is concerned, I broke down each quarter to tell me what this is my major focus in my business this quarter. And then I broke that down into months. What do I need to do in this month of this quarter for at the end of the quarter, I feel closer to that quarterly goal. And then I broke it down into weeks. What are the different steps that I need to take in my business to give me the result that I said I want at the end of that quarter? Now, I know that it took me 4 hours. That's it. It took me 4 hours to do that for the entire year. And I know, like, when I say it to people, they're like, ugh, but I'm telling you, the amount of peace and the amount of clarity that that has given me as a business owner. Now, might I pivot? Of course I might, but now I'm pivoting from a place of knowledge. I'm pivoting from a place of clarity. I'm not pivoting because things got crazy and I have no idea what I'm doing. No, I know exactly what I'm doing and I know what the goal is. And so that's another thing that I'm really encouraging for the solopreneurs that are going to be following me this year, listening to the podcast, reading my newsletter is we want to move from a place of clarity. We want to move from a place of clarity. And the only way we get that clarity is the pause. I had a 4 hour pause to plan out the year, right? So that's what one of the things, it's a habit that I am now claiming for myself for every year. At the top of every year, I will do this for my business.
Mhm. So, two things that you said that made me think. I think oftentimes just by nature of the chaotic world we live in, we are often very reactionary.
Yeah.
It does not give us the ability to respond well a lot of the times. And so I think what you've described is a blueprint for being able to respond to outside forces instead of react to them. So I love that. And then one thing, you said something like that might the idea of having like your whole year planned out might give some people like trepidation in their heart, right?
Mhm.
But one thing I shared with you some podcasts, and
Yeah.
on one of those podcasts somebody said, and I can't remember who at this point said, that the more structure you have, the freer you are. And that resonated with me so well because I think we grew up in a pretty structured home, right? Like I don't think that it was like we kind of knew, and wherever there was not structure, we probably created structure for ourselves. Like
Yeah.
we've just, you and I have just always been kind of in that vein. And for me, when I have no structure, when I don't know like what is next, is when I feel the most chaotic and out of control. And
Yeah.
so I think there's a balance to it for sure, because you don't want to, the root of control or wanting to have that control can sometimes be from fear. But there's also this idea of, I want to manage well the time that I have. I want to manage well the resources that I have. I want to at least have a strategic direction on where I'm headed. And
Yeah.
those parameters, those guardrails, keep you focused on that thing. And of course, there's, like we said, there's always going to be some environmental outside things that could potentially get in the way. But if you have the blueprint, if you have the structure, you're able to be a little bit more loosey goosey
Yeah.
within. You're free within the structure, basically.
Yeah.
And so I really I married a man who is not structure oriented. Like he just is like, it's just too rigid. And so I've had to bend a little bit because I realized that I can get far into the rigidity of, it's got to be this way, this way, this way, this way. But I think now he's also realizing how much freedom there is in knowing what's coming next, in being aware of, or at least anticipating what could happen or what you want to happen. And so I think it's just a learning process on
Yeah.
how you best succeed, how you respond well to outside variables. And for me and for you, clearly, it's when we have a strategic direction with
Yeah.
some guardrails on what is and what will not happen. And then of course God can do what God is always going to do, and he's going to
Oh,
be God in every situation. So if that happens, then I think that's where the pivot and maybe even the pause comes in.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because like I said, during the sip from the well 10 days of pause challenge, that it's in the pause where we can often get that those divine downloads, that information, because sometimes we're moving so fast that we we can't, it's like we're on autopilot and we don't receive those little glimmers that could be like your little pivot or what have you. But yeah, as far as what you're saying, this is the most clear that I've ever felt, as far as being an entrepreneur and knowing the strategic direction. And I don't feel locked into it in any way. If I were to have a conversation with someone tomorrow and it seemed like, oh, you know what? It seems like we're moving in this direction, or this makes more sense for Q2 or Q3 or whatever. I have no problem adjusting that or changing it completely. But now I can speak intelligently, like with people that I'm collaborating with, or for planning for the women that are coming into my communities and my coaching programs. I know the vision that I have to serve them, but they might, like right now I have a beta group going on for my membership group. These women are supplying me with their needs. So as they supply me with their needs, what they need from a coach, what they need from a mastermind community, I might say, oh, you know what? We need to do XYZ. And that might look a little bit different than what my original plan was. But at least I have the container that
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm called to deliver,
Mm-hmm.
called to operate as a coach in this way to this particular type of woman. And as we commune back and forth and as I listen, it will develop into what it's supposed to develop. It's kind of like that saying that you can't steer a ship that is docked or something like that. You can't
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can't steer um a parked ship, like a ship that is, it has to be moving. It has to
Mm-hmm.
have, in order for you to pivot. So I now have created that container that I can move into, even if my pace is different, because I wanted to be like, it's, what is it, the 7th, the 8th today, and
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, it's time to rock and roll, but my body was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's not. It's time to rest. And I had to do that. So already my weeks are a little off.
Yeah. I think the other thing about what I'm hearing you say, and just my own personal ideas around goal setting and around like giving yourself a strategic direction. This year I did it a little differently because typically I usually write out like goals for the whole year, right? Like I want it to be look like I want to do this thing.
Yeah.
And this year, because I have listened to those two podcasts that we can link below, and also started reading the book Atomic Habits, I'm more focused on the strategy to
Mhm.
get to the goal as opposed to the goal. And one thing that, what's his name? Clear? What, I don't
Yeah.
know who. Okay,
James.
James Clear.
Mhm.
One thing that he said is that there are three kinds of setters basically. There are those who focus on the goal, so the outcome. What is it that you want to see at the end? And then there's a group of people who focus on the strategy. So, what do I need to do in order to see that outcome? And the third type of person, and he says the most valuable type of person, and typically people spend their time in categories 1 and 2 and they don't turn to category 3. But
Mhm.
category 3 is who do I want to become?
Yeah.
And when I think about who do I want to become, and if that is the question that guides your strategy, it's also going to then dictate the outcome, right? So if you focus on who you want to become. So, for example, I have been trying to write a book for, I don't know, 10 plus years, right? And I've never said I'm a writer. I've never said,
Yeah.
I am one who writes.
I don't know why, but yeah, you that's true.
But I'm really good at writing, just like you. So I this year instead of saying I want to write a book, I said I will become a writer.
Hmm.
And because the question then that guides my strategy and the question that guides my outcome is what would a writer do? If I'm going to become a writer and I have a choice between writing for 10 minutes or scrolling through Facebook for 10 minutes, what would a writer do? A
Mm,
writer would write for 10 minutes. And
yeah.
so when you can visualize who you want to become, then that is going to dictate what you do. That's
Absolutely.
probably also going to dictate the questions you ask yourselves, but that those questions are going to dictate what you do, and what you do is inevitably going to become the outcome that you want to see. And so the outcome, maybe I want to write a book, but the reality is I got to become a writer first. And so what would a writer do to get to the end goal?
Yeah.
So just
I
something.
love it. Someone is commenting on that, right? Because it was
Yes, yes. Carrie said, love that. Lisa said, oh, that's good stuff.
yeah.
Tawera said, oh, hey, Tawera.
Hey, T.
That she loved the breakdown. I think we were talking, it was the breakdown about kind of being reactionary versus responsive. And so, strategy for success indeed. Better the 3 hours that reactive responses, as Tiffany highlights. So,
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to highlight a few things that you just talked about. One, um, envisioning who you want to become, like really getting clear about that. Plug on January 31st, Saturday morning, I am having the Envision 2026. This is normally I'm a big into vision boarding and all of that kind of stuff, but this is not that. Okay. This is about up here. And this is about thinking about who you want to become at the end of the year. It's about thinking about how you want to move through and experience your 2026. And so I want you to join me. It's totally free. Envision 2026, January 31st, Saturday morning, US time. It will be 9 a.m. Central Time. Okay, 9 a.m. Central Time. Whenever I post this conversation, I will post a link for you to register so you can get the Zoom link to join us. But it's going to be more of this type of conversation and some activities that are curated specifically to helping you think through who it is that you want to become, right? How do you want to experience your life, specifically 2026? At the end of 2026, who do you want to be? What do you want to have be able to say about yourself and your experience of 2026? So that's what the Envision 2026 is all about. And I would love for you to join me. I think my sister is already registered for that. And
Um,
I believe, I'm not sure, I think Lisa might be registered, or at least
yes, she said she's so excited she cannot wait for that.
okay, awesome. So excited to have you in the room. Lisa, I love you. Okay, so there's that. I want you guys to definitely join me. Tell your friend, man, woman, I don't care. I mean, you guys know I'm mostly coach women, but this is a concept that's really important, and it's all of us need to do it. We need to practice this and do it together because it is life changing. And as James Clear said, as Tiffany mentioned, we don't spend time thinking about this. We spend time, I'm definitely guilty of this because I'm a strategy person. Like that's my degree is in strategic foresight, and so I'm always thinking about how do I get there? How do I do this? What do I do? What are the steps? I do that, but it's very important. This is the year of the pause, and we are pausing our normal rhythms to institute some new habits and new behaviors. And this is a habit that I would love to see all of us institute in our lives. And that's why it's open, it's free, and we're just going to do it together as a community, and it's going to be beautiful. Um,
Lisa asked, would this be good for teens who are interested or not so much?
I think so. I think it would be great for teens. I wish that they knew. Guys, I wish that we taught our teens these concepts. Um, in school. And so, yes, if you want to invite teens, please invite them. And I will be sure that as I'm speaking, I keep them in mind too. But yes, I think it would be fabulous for them. They definitely need to start thinking in this manner. And then just one other thing, Tiff, that you said. Um, one of my dear friends, she is an affirmation coach,
Mhm.
and I've learned a lot from her about the way we speak to ourselves and the way we create our affirmations to make them the most effective that they can be. And when you're thinking, we'll talk about this also on Saturday, the 31st, but when you're thinking about who you want to become and how you want to experience your year, I want you to, let's just take Tiffany's example of being a writer. My sister is a writer through and through. Okay, she's an amazing writer. And I want her to say, I am a writer. Like, I am becoming a writer. So, the difference between I am becoming or I am and I will is I will is somewhere out there. I
Mhm.
am starts to bring it home. And then we can tag. Sorry, Siri was having an issue. But I am allows us to bring it into, like, we are calling ourselves that right now. That's what we are right now. And if that feels hard for you, then a you can attach something to that, like, I am becoming a writer by blah 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 blah, or I am becoming a writer because blah 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 blah. I am,
Mhm.
this is what I am doing right now. I am doing this. I am becoming this. I do encompass this. So we'll talk more about that, but just
Yeah. That's really good. And I think one of the other things that helps me to know that I am a writer and I am becoming the writer that I have envisioned for myself, is that I show up every day.
yeah,
And one of the things that James Clear said, maybe because we've listened to two, so I can't remember who said what. But anyway, it doesn't matter. One thing that was said was, what can you do on your worst day to still show up for yourself? What is the bare minimum that you can do to continue to become the person you want to become?
yeah,
Because every day is not going to be the best day where I sit down and I write three full chapters, right? Maybe there'll be days like that and that'd be awesome and amazing. But on the very worst day, what can I commit to doing?
yeah,
And so for me, I said, for me, I can commit to 10 minutes a day of writing. And if I commit to 10 minutes a day of writing every single day, I am a writer, period. And so that's what I've done. I've said to myself, and these days 1 through 8 have not even been my worst days, but because I'm trying to build a habit, all I do is 10 minutes. That's what I do. I come to my computer, I put my timer on for 10 minutes, and I free write for 10 minutes every single day. And that is building the habit. So when the buzzer goes off, and I don't proofread, when the buzzer goes off, I close my computer and I am done for that moment. Now, will I increase the time? Probably, eventually. But for now, I just want to build the habit of writing every single day. And so I said 10 minutes was the time frame I was going to give myself, and that's what I've been doing, and it's been so successful, because it's just 10 minutes, right? It's like in the book Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about a guy who was trying to build a habit of being a gym goer. And so for the first month, for the first 30 days of his gym membership, he went there for 5 minutes and left, just to build the habit of going to the gym, to being the person who goes to the gym. And so I took that same kind of example and kind of molded it for my purpose, which is to become a writer. And so it's, at the very least, I've got 10 minutes to write. And if I can't write about anything, I write about what I'm grateful for. And so it's building the habit. And the other thing he talks about, and if y'all have not read the book Atomic Habits, I really do suggest you read it, because it talks about the compounding effects of small movements, small shifts, small changes over the course of time. You see that a 1% shift does big things. Now, on the day that you're doing the 1% thing, you might not see a big change, but it's as you continue to do it over time that it compounds, and you realize, you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so much. And it can go in either direction. You could do 1%, the decisions that are going to help you become who you want to become, or you could do 1% of the decisions that are not going to help you become who you become. And when you look back, you'll be like, oh, I'm so far from where I want to be, or wow, I'm so far from where I was, I can't believe that I've done so much. And so it is about that consistency, and even when you don't see the results you're trying to see right away,
mhm,
know that it's not going to be, it might take a hundred times,
yeah,
but 101, you're there. And if you gave up at 98 because you didn't see what you wanted to see, at 98, then you're going to miss it, but you've got to keep going. You've got to keep going.
That is so good, Tiff. I'm so glad you brought that out because, in my full time work when I'm coaching people and I try to explain that concept, it is so difficult because people feel like they're not doing anything. That's
Mm,
that won't make an impact. That's no big deal. And that's the thing. And it's like, hey, we are building we have we live current state today with habits that have been created over a lifetime.
yes.
We have established, whether they're good or bad, we have established these habits over a lifetime. And so when we start to think about how do we want to show up in the world, how do we want to experience life, how do we want this year, what type of person do we want to become? Let's just take this year at the end of 2026. What type of person do we want to be? Um, the things that need to be set in place in order to establish that, it's not like we're just automatically going to perfectly do everything 30 minutes a day, 40 minutes a day, that's not that's not reality. That's not it's not wisdom to even attempt that because that's just not how we are designed. We do not
Mhm.
think that way. That's not how things happen. So we have to be really real. We have to get real about how things work, how our brains work, and even in that, all of our brains don't work the same. We there's so many different ways, just like how James Clear said that people set goals in different ways. That's
Mhm.
your brain works a certain way. So things may be more comfortable to you, may have a tendency to do things a different way. There's, people who have neurotypical brain, like brain functioning. It's just we have to we have to operate in wisdom and we have to operate from our capacity.
Yeah.
And so I want to just let people know I am planning to do a book study, like what would that be? Group book club of Atomic Habits in this year in
Mm.
group No More Silos. No More Silos is a group that I have started. It's a community. It's free to enter, so just come on in if you want to. And we're going to be having these conversations. It's specifically geared toward people who are solopreneurs, women solopreneurs. So that means aspiring, that means just started, that means established, and you know that you need to change some patterns and habits to center your wellness. So it's really about helping to keep ourselves well as we are building the big visions that we feel called to, right? So if any of that feels like, yeah, I need to be a part of that. And why is it called No More Silos? Because people who are solopreneurs tend to operate in silos. We tend to not communicate outside of our own little setting of I need to make this business decision, I need to do this. And so it's really to create community for solopreneurs and to help support us in centering our wellness. And that starts with habits, like, right? Creating
Mhm.
these. So I'll put a link to that as well. Come on in to that if that interests you.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds really awesome.
Yeah.
So, in addition to, so let's talk about our words for the year because you
Got it.
asked me what my word was. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm going to be really honest with you. I have 7 words,
What?
but those words are not, let's see. Oh, my journal's in the other room. But okay, so those words are not, actually, they're right here.
So listen, while she's getting her words, if you guys have a word for the year, would you put it in the chat? I would love to hear other people's words for the year as well. But go ahead, tell us your. 7.
Okay, well, it's not really. It's seven. Okay, it's one word, but it's like broken into seven chunks of work. So, the one word is momentum, which is really interesting because your word, because we're pausing for the year, but I do believe that the pause allows you to have momentum, and
Yeah.
so. Nicole and I are on this workout app called the Ladder app, which is amazing. And my ladder coach, she always says there's growth in the pause. So it's not, and the pause allows you to keep the momentum when you're going.
Yeah.
So the word for my 2026 word is momentum.
Okay.
Now, when I've broken that down, because what does that look like for me? What does that mean for me? That means that there are seven areas that I want to see momentum in this new year.
Okay.
And those are my identity. So spiritual grounding. Who am I? Who does God say I am? And as an image bearer of Christ, what does that mean for me? How do I get momentum as an image bearer of Jesus Christ? So that's identity is the first sub under momentum. The
Okay.
second one is clarity. So clarity in my space, my physical space, and clarity in my mind. So that looks like two things for me. Number one, I'm going to be purging a lot. I've already started purging a lot of my space. I have so much stuff that I do not need, and I want momentum in that. I want to see my space clear because for me, a clear space helps me to have a clear mind.
Hmm.
Um, and so the other thing about that is having the mental piece, the clarity that I need to be able to continue to show up for myself. And so for me in this season, I used to have a good therapist, and I don't anymore. And so this year, I'm looking for a therapist that can help me with this clarity piece.
Yeah.
The third word is consistency. So, building sustainable systems that allow me to remain consistent so that the momentum of my consistency can show over time. So, that's healthy eating habits, healthy social media habits, healthy TV habits, healthy rest habits, healthy moving habits, all of those. So intentionality is another subset of my word because that one is going to focus on intentionally closing down the things because I think in our last um conversation we talked about the portals like your ears, your eyes, your
Mhm.
mouth, right? And so I'm really trying to be intentional about closing the portal to things that are not helping me get momentum in my life. So that's really, so I've put parameters on social media on my phone. I have, like you, I have put my phone always stays on silent, first of all. So that part, I can't stand rings and dings and all of the things. So I have put myself on silent a lot, but it's also on do not disturb a lot. And I also just started to put my phone in another room to charge at night so that I do not doom scroll in the evening time or right before bed. So the phone is in another room. So it's just being intentional. And that intentionality, going to bed intentionally at a decent hour and waking up at the same hour, just being really intentional about those habits. Unity in my marriage. I think last time we spoke, it was rocky, and we went into this new year rocky. Listen, marriage is tough, and I am so grateful for my husband and my family. But I definitely know that there can be some unity there, and again, I want to see some momentum in that. And so, what does that look like? We're probably going to go to couples therapy. We're going to spend more time communicating and working on our communication and just really building unity in within our marriage. And then the last two stewardship over money. So there's money disciplines that I'd like to see. My husband got his student loans forgiven, and I'm believing the Lord for that for me too this year. So I'm going to be very disciplined in my money habits, because I do believe that, if I can take care of the small that the Lord has given me, that He will increase. And so just having more and better stewardship over our finances, and then creativity is the last one.
Yeah.
And that is, there are things that I want to create, and there are things that, I'm doing this study on the names of God, and I'm on Elohim right now. And Elohim means that, it represents God as the creator. It represents God as having all authority and being sovereign and being creative. And because we are image bearers of God, that means all of us are also creative. We are created in His image, and we are bearing His image, and His image is the ultimate creator. And so, because of that, in this year, I want to tap into that aspect of my life through writing, through a podcast that I would like to start called Liberate Her, and just a lot of things that will be more creative than I've ever been. I've kind of put myself into this like very logical bucket of do this and then this and then this and then this, and it doesn't give a lot of room for creativity. So this year I'm tapping into creativity, and in all seven of those words, the overarching word is momentum, because something in motion stays in motion. And so as long as I am put some motion into all of these things, my belief is that I will stay in motion. Of course, pausing when I need to, but then picking it back up and being able to continuously stay in motion in these things.
Yes, I love it.
And mom just joined. Hey, mom.
Hello, mother. Yes, that is beautiful. First of all, thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that with all of us. That was amazing. You are inspiring me to want to break down my word even more. That was fabulous. I loved it. I loved it. Um, my word for the year is elevation.
Mhm.
And I want to elevate in every area of my life, specifically in um, my business and service. It's not just about business and making money. It's about impact. It's about transformation. And for a long time, I have been I think I've wanted to be in business for myself since I was 22 years old. I'm 40,
Mhm.
and there have been so many things that have happened between 22 and 48 that have um kind of informed my life and impacted my ability to move forward in certain ways. And so this year it's all about elevation. It's all about really momentum, elevating with momentum without that whole start stop thing that has
Yeah,
happened over the years. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm in a place that is set up well to be able to do that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. It requires, even these seven, I guess, 8 words, if you include the overarching word momentum, it requires a mindset shift. And what I love about the fact that it's taken, I'm not good at math, but 48 minus 22, whatever that is that a delay is not a denial. And so, I am speaking elevation into your life, sis. I know that I have personally seen how you have tarried, and how you have travailed, and how you have worked so hard, and how you've had some disappointments. And so I'm just believing that with you, that this is the year that all of that, and you needed all of that. You needed all of that, because at the end of the day, God wants to get and will get all of the glory out of your life. Every single last thing. And so sometimes he has to take us through things where it's like, oh no, that was nothing but God. I couldn't have done that. I did some work because I do believe faith without works is dead. So I did some work, but man, it was all God, like all of it. And so I'm just excited about. I'm glad I get a front row seat to it. I'm glad I get you bounce ideas off of me, all of the things, because I don't know anyone more deserving of elevation in this season than you. So, so I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go
Um,
up, higher.
Hi, Patty. Well, thank you, Tiffany, my sister, for those very kind words. I appreciate it so much. And everybody who is watching, listening right now, and who will listen later. I'm grateful for you too, and I appreciate you joining. I appreciate you being a part of the conversation. My hope is that anything that Tiff and I have said is impactful, starts having creativity light bulbs going off for you in your life and wherever you are, whatever season you find yourself in, because that's the reason that we're here. I
Mhm.
know I can speak for her. I know that for me, that's the reason why we're here, is to bring freedom, to bring transformation. And for me specifically, I know that I am called to help women be positioned well for their purpose. So that is why elevation is necessary, right? Because there are women out there who are needing the support, the community, the coaching to be able to release their voice to the audiences that they are called to, whether that looks like the way I do it or, is unique to them. And so, yeah, I am so excited to start off 2026, the year of the pause, talking about elevating and talking about momentum, because that's the pause is why that's why, because
Mhm.
so we can get that elevation and we can build these fabulous life impacting businesses, um, nonprofits, whatever it is that you are called to build and establish in this season, so that we can do that, because the world needs us.
Yeah,
The world needs us. That's why this is called mosaic mindset, because every piece, not only every piece of us as individuals, but we are a piece in the world, and your piece is needed. So we got to bring the pieces together.
absolutely. Can I just say what some folks have been saying in the chat, sis, before
Please.
we hang up here? Um, okay, so I got to go up a little higher because people have been talking. Okay. Um, Lisa said brain science tells us that our brain is looking to confirm things that we are saying to ourselves. So confirmation bias for sure. Like it will look for ways in which what we say is true, whether those are the good things we say or the bad things we say about ourselves. So we might as well say good things so that our brain can find the good, right? So there's that. What you can do on your worst day to show up for yourself. That's an awesome question to move you forward. So just keeping that in mind, like what's the one thing you can do?
Yes. And before you keep reading, I just want to say one of my dear, dear friends, life mentors, said to me, Patty Leach, hi, Patty. She said to me, never give up on your worst day. Never give up on your worst day. If on your best day, you still feel like giving up on whatever it is that it's time for that thing to end, then it's okay to think about it. But on your worst day, never give
That's
up on.
good. That's really good. I mean, because you know how many things I want to quit on my worst days? Like everything. Like I just give it all up. I don't want to do anything. I'm done. But
Right.
if that were the case, man, so because bad days are going to happen. Like those
Oh,
days are going to happen. So you have to, on your best day, plan for what you're going to do on your worst day. Because so that when the worst day comes, you're not ready to give it all up. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
You cannot quit on your worst day.
Yep.
That's when you got to stay. So more comments. Consistency being more important than how long you do it. So just yeah. And the other thing about consistency is if you so I think James Clear says it in the book. Like if you can't do the full workout, still show up and do 10 minutes of the workout. Like
Yes.
change
Yes.
change the scope, but do not change the momentum of you going, the consistency of you showing up. So if I can't write for 10 minutes, I write for 5 minutes. But whatever it is, I'm still going to show up. I might change the scope of what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to change the direction of what I'm going to do. So
Yes.
that's awesome. Consistency is important. Oh, oh,
I can still hear you, but I
oh,
can't see.
okay. Okay, hold on. Somebody's trying to call me. And of course, I don't have my do not disturb on, which I should.
Hilarious.
Hold on. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Give me a second to figure it out. Oh
Nope.
my goodness. Okay, hold on, sis. I'm coming.
It's
Let me
okay.
just get
Hey,
myself together.
it's with ease. It's okay.
Okay, here I am.
All right.
Jeez. I'm on do not disturb now, so nobody should be disturbing me. Okay, Lisa asked about I believe she's talking about the Atomic Habits book club. Are you doing that here on Substack or? And Lisa, please correct me if that's not the question, but you said here on Substack, and I missed it in the real time, so I don't know what she was talking about.
Oh,
But
okay. The atomic. Okay. Well,
I think I don't know. She's gonna clarify.
okay. Well, while she's clarifying, I'm just going to answer that question. It is in No More Silos. So, No More Silos is a school community. It's a free school community that I have created for women solopreneurs. We are going to be doing Atomic Habits in there as book club. So,
So, and how do people sign up for that?
you can go to school and search No More Silos. You can search my name, Nicole Pertiller, but I will also link the um the link to the group at the
That
end of, whenever I share out this conversation. No More Silos will be linked, but if you want it right now, then you can find it in school under my name. And if it's Lisa that's asking this question, I will text you the link.
oh, good to have an in. Okay, so Carrie said that her word for the year is rest, and I love that for her. And one thing also is that we've talked about this. We've said this already that the rest or the pause is important for momentum, but there's so much growth that happens in rest. As a matter of fact, for those of us who work out, it is so important that we rest because that's where our muscles recover and that's where they grow.
Absolutely.
That's when fat is able to be used as energy sources. And so it's in the resting time. People think that when they're actually doing the actual work, that's where the work is happening. And the work is really happening in the rest. So it's important that you get rest. So, Carrie, I just pray that this year is restful for you and that you are able to find rest in the midst of whatever chaos may ensue in 2026. So,
Absolutely. Redemptive rest and productive rest. Absolutely.
absolutely. Lisa said, building sustainable systems so that the consistency of my momentum can build up over time. I think I got that right. Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely what it is. And then let's see, a delay is not a denial for sure. And a pause is not a full stop. It's not a
Absolutely.
stop sign, it's just a pause. Boop.
That's somebody who's been in my community. Who said that?
Oh, that was Lisa.
Of
She also agrees with my words of encouragement for you about elevation this year. And then she said, this is still Lisa speaking, your conversation was amazing. It brought clarity and some specific focus to things that I was already working on and loves the way that we've worded some things. So thank you to you both. And okay, and that's the end. That's the
all
end of the comments.
guys, thank you so much. I loved your comments. I love the conversation back and forth. Um, Please, if you enjoy that as well, come on over and join me in No More Silos because that's where I'm going to be the most active. I'm still going to do these conversations on Substack, but if you want me on a day-to-day coaching specific things for you, community with other women, you want to be over there. So, and then the last thing I want to say, well, before I do that, Tiffany, do you have any parting words of wisdom, anything you want to leave the audience with today before I shut us down?
The only thing I will say is have grace for yourself and for others this year. I think people are dealing with some tough things, and while they're dealing with those tough things, they're also trying to become better people. Well, some of them are trying to become better people. And so I think if you fall into that category of wrestling with some tough things, but also trying to become a better person, or better yourself in one way or the other, just have grace for yourself, because any journey you decide to take on that's a journey towards your better self is not an easy journey. And so we're so inclined to stay who we are because we're comfortable there. But there's so much beauty and growth outside of that comfort zone, but that's also the hardest place to be. So have grace, have mercy, and love on yourself really well, because the world may not do it for you. So I guess that's it. That's all I got.
I love it. I love it. It goes hand in hand. I didn't even know what she was going to say, y'all, but I love it. We are so in sync. Today I have on my Just Be Love shirt. This is the ministry of my dear friend, Rachel Frank. And it is all about being love in the world. And I want you to not only have grace with and be love to other people, but I want you to love yourself. I want you to show yourself so much love and so much grace as we go into 2026. I want you to show up for you. Like, I know some of you who are on this call, and I know you show up for a lot of people. And
Mhm.
I want to challenge you this year to make sure that you are showing up for you, because you have a voice, you have a call on your life, and that needs to go out to wherever it is supposed to go out to, even if it's one person, right? Even if it's one person, that one person could ultimately change all of our lives because you spoke into them. But if you are not showing up for yourself and giving yourself the love, the grace, the energy, the fuel, the rest that you need to be doing whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, then that might not happen. So I just want to encourage you to be love to yourself. That is how we are going to honor the way we've been created as triune beings, spirit, mind, and body. We want to take care of ourselves. We want to honor ourselves by taking care of ourselves, right? By showing up for ourselves. We can't say that we're called to these amazing things. We can't say that we're supposed to be here, 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 using our voices to do this, this, and this, but we're treating ourselves like crap. We're not even giving ourselves a seat at the table. Can't do that anymore. It's pause for that, right? We are pausing on that habit, and we are showing up for ourselves. And I know, last thing, sometimes that can sound selfish when it says, when we say, I'm showing up for myself. This is not selfishness. This is not, I'm showing up for myself just so I can show up for myself, right? This is stewardship.
I was
Oh,
just going to say that. Get out of my head.
come on.
Get out of my head.
Saying we are sisters through and through. But this is stewardship, you guys. This is stewardship. We are stewarding the call that is on our lives. We are stewarding the body that we've been given. We are stewarding the minds that we've been blessed with, the intelligence that we have. We are stewarding that. God gave it to us. He gave it to us for a purpose, and we're going to use it and use it well, but we've got to keep it healthy,
Mhm.
holistically. right?
Yeah. Keep it healthy, keep it holy, keep it whole. Um, can you put a link to the t-shirt in, like, how can people get the t-shirt? Because Lisa said she wants the shirt and so do I. So how do we get these shirts?
Listen, I will be texting. Listen, she's another one. She's Rachel. This Rachel. Listen, this is such a great. This is y'all. I'm trying to end this, but I just need you to. I need you to understand something. I need you to understand this. This girl who created this shirt is one of us. She is someone who is called to huge things. Her voice is very impactful, and so many things have happened to try to keep her silenced. So I'm going to reach out to her and I'm going to let her know that her shirt is causing ripples over here on Substack and people
Mhm.
shirt, okay? So this is the importance of No More Silos. It's that we're going to come in there and we're going to be honest and we're going to be transparent with where we are and where we want to go, and we're going to encourage one another, and we are going to grow together, not in a silo. No more silos, right? We're coming in there together. And everybody, listen, everybody who follows me may not be from the same background. I always have to say this because it's very near and dear to my heart, but everybody may not come from my same spiritual background, okay? Or your same spiritual background. That's in there. But we are in there to what? To be love and to encourage one another and to just move people into position. We're not doing the moving. God is doing the moving, but our voices, our community, our love is helping everybody, every piece get into position where they need to be. So I just want you to be encouraged by that, and if you want to be in there with me, come on in because I want you in there. Okay.
Awesome. Yes, and I think that's it. Lisa's talking about how you start a whole bunch of different sentences but don't finish them. That means you really have something strongly that you feel strongly about what you're saying. It's true. You got it takes you a minute to get there, but you get there because it's you feel it in your
It's in there. It's like bubbling up, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's.
yeah.
But that's how passionate I am about this, and
And Lisa also said she was just about to say we are truly sisters. And so when she didn't ask this, but we gotta figure out when next month we can do this again because I love talking with you and sharing insights that we're learning along the way. So we'll
well,
figure that out
yeah,
and we'll do this again.
absolutely,
All
100.
right.
Yeah,
Anything else you gotta say, sis, to your people?
I don't think so, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on. This is really the official first episode under the new name.
Yeah.
Holistic mental health for women solopreneurs. So thank you so much for being with me today and my sister Tiffany.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk a thing about sugar, which is perfectly fine, because we'll talk about that the next time. But we are in the middle of a 21-day sugar uh, free journey, and you can join us over at Sweet Freedom on
Yes.
Facebook. Nicole will link it for you. But Sweet Freedom on Facebook is a place where a bunch of us who just want to live differently, live healthy, live whole. Um, we are work taking one day at a time on this Sweet Freedom journey, and join us over there.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All
And
right.
see you next time.
Love you, sis. Talk to you later.
Love you. Bye bye.